Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to be working on this large juniper raft. Rafts are one of my favorite styles, and when I was a beginner, I was really inspired by the Krumholtz form up in the mountains of California where I was hiking. And this is one of my earlier attempts that I still have to create a raft that kind of mimics a windswept tree, something that's really been battered by a storm. But at the moment, it's looking pretty lush. So I'm going to go through uh, and clear out a bunch of foliage. The other reason I need to do this is that all of this stuff that's on the interior here starts to get really weak if I don't cut back and remove the branching that's at the top. So it looks like it's about time for me to start creating some more deadwood anyway, and that will accomplish the goal as well as make it so I have fewer things to wire. I've done some cleanup here. I killed off some of the branches that were up here to create more gin. Same thing on some of these branches here in the front to get more of a view into the depth. And I've also just sort of removed some of the branches that are in the interior here to allow a view kind of through this a little bit more. But one of the things that's been bothering me for a while on this is this area right here. So there's kind of a crown here, which comes off a nice slanting trunk, and another crown here. So there's one, two, and then this is a third one. And there's just not enough space right here to get separation between those crowns. So I keep coming back to eliminating one of these and then moving the other ones around. So I thought, like, okay, I could just move this back here, but then that requires me to pull that back. And I kind of like the line right here. So I don't really want this sticking up too much more. Plus pulling it back kind of changes the three-dimensionality of the trunk. So I could do that a little bit, but eliminating this trunk would be really problematic. It actually has twisting lifelines on it, and there would be no logical place to cut it off without leaving some sort of a major sign. And the same thing is kind of true of this one, which I think I actually shortened this last year. There's a cut right here. But so the conclusion I've come to is that the only option I have, or the best option I have, is to eliminate this one. And that'll give me a little bit more space to move this one down to create that separation. And the reason I'm removing this one is that it's actually the least interesting of all the trunks. So for this section here, it just sort of skims along the soil line, and there's no shari or interesting shape to it from about right here all the way out to here, and then it kind of turns vertical, and there's some shari that's been done in years past here, but basically there's just not a whole lot that is interesting about it. So because I like making trees, I could try air layering this off, but I don't really feel like doing that. It has a couple of roots here, so I'm actually just going to vacuum out some of the soil and see if I can separate these roots from the rest of the roots that are in the container. and then I'll just cut it behind those roots and pull the whole thing out. And if it lives, it lives, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So it's a bit of a messy forest in here, but my cut point's going to be right down in here, and if you can't really see that, you're not going to be able to see that cut point from anywhere. And so this root is going to come out, and then this whole trunk will be gone, and this little trunk that comes from back here I will go ahead and put back here for the time being, and that may get eliminated in the future as well, but I'm not sure yet. All right, well, that didn't go as well as I'd hoped or as badly as I'd feared. There's the trunk that I took out, and I'll go ahead and just soak this in water for now. It's got some fine roots, but I had to kind of yank it, so who knows whether it'll actually survive. But in a greenhouse, we might get it to continue on its own. So now I have a lot more space, and I took the tack out of this that was connecting it to the box in the position that I wanted. So I'm gonna bring this down and forward a little bit, and I'm going to tack that back in place. And ultimately, I might end up eliminating this one as well, but I haven't decided that yet. So like the allowing a view into the underside here seems to be really beneficial, but there's still a lot of development to go on this backside here. These trunks that I've wired and kind of roughly positioned still need to grow out and develop more before the composition will be totally complete. All right, so that's it for this session. You can see that there's a fair amount of thinning that's gone on here and clean up so that there's more visibility and sort of light penetration throughout. And some branch reduction, branch cleanup, and so on. But this is a very long-term project, and it's these repetitive sessions of just sort of tweaking and refining and really taking it one step at a time that have gotten me to this point. So in moving forward, there's a few kind of things in this area that need to be wired, especially these little guys that are going to create some depth back here. But they're still relatively small, so I'm going to wait another year probably to wire those. There's also a couple of young trunks in here that could be wired to give better complementary movement that would match these larger trunks. And so I'll do that probably either later this year or early next year. All right, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed seeing that work.